Hello, everybody, and welcome to this great webinar from Bayard. Today, we are going to talk about everything you need to know for 2026-2027 Flum Gospel Weeklies. My name is David Perosi, and I serve as a sales business lead for Bayard. My wonderful co-host today is the famous publisher, David DeZena. David, hello, everybody. Say hello to everyone across the country, David.
Hello. Hi, Dave. Hello, everybody.
This is going to be such a great time for us to share some wonderful, brand new, outstanding, reimagined. There's so many different things in here. This is the most awesome program. It has been revamped, kind of thing, across the globe. That we at Flum Gospel Weeklies took a fabulous program that has been on the market for many
Just about
years
45 years this year.
45 years, this lectionary based catechesis program that goes along with the Sunday gospel. Always remember modern day stories for modern day times that relate to the gospel for the children, their faith formation comes alive. And when they are on their faith formation journey, the Flum Gospel Weeklies is the number one program for them across the country. And my wonderful publisher who is with me is going to talk about all the great new additions that are a part of the Gospel Weeklies. David, tell me a little bit about the Gospel Weeklies.
Well, like I said, the Gospel Weeklies have been around for just about 45 years in total, and they cover preschool through grade 9 at 5 different levels. We also have an adult level called Awaken, that it's in its third year this coming year. That is for adults, whether it's parents or OCIA or adult faith formation, parents, all that kind of thing. But for preschool through grade 9, we have 5 levels that cover those levels, and the lessons are based on a liturgical year. So every year is fresh, as Dave was saying, the modern day stories for modern day times. We're able to take the gospel stories and keep them relevant by using real life events, different new saints, obviously with Pope Leo as a new pope. We include all those things, and we are able to stay fresh every year because the lessons are fresh. And this year is a special edition because we are reimagining, to use what Dave's wording, reimagining the program because of some of the new standards the U.S. bishops have asked us to work on.
This is a great program. It's age appropriate, it's family friendly, and it's inspiring discipleship. As we continue with our slideshow today, and if you're taking a look at a great program, this is where we start. As David said, we start with the littlest ones of seeds and go all the way to high school. So, David, if you just go to advance to the next slide, we're going to jump right into this. And David's going to talk about the new conformity process and how the revision plan. Go ahead, David.
Right. So when the Catechism came out in the early 1990s, uh, soon after the U.S. Bishops' Conference created what was known as the Protocol, which were 400 plus, a little over 400 doctrinal elements from the Catechism that every publisher was asked to include in a series, in a textbook program series. And that is something that has been in place all the way since the late 1990s. In When the Directory for Catechesis came out from the Vatican in 2020, the U.S. bishops used that as an opportunity to revamp and revisit the conformity process. And one of the things that the Directory for Catechesis asked for is a way to include resources for students, for teachers, and for families. And the old process for the U.S. bishops' conformity review really only evaluated programs that were for students as well as in the teacher support material, but nothing for adults, nothing for parents. So at FLOM here, we use this as an opportunity to look at the program and say, how can we move forward with this reimagining of our program based on the new standards that the U.S. bishops have asked all publishers to work on?
Yeah.
And in the past, because our lessons were or are dated in terms of they are weekly lessons, 32 lessons per year that cover the Gospels from September through May. um, they weren't subject, the lessons themselves weren't subject to conformity review because they are kept current. And a periodical type approach was not part of the original process. Now, with this new standard, they are evaluating essentially any type of program, whether it's an online program, a podcast, a website, or in our case, weekly lessons based on a liturgical year. So we're able to take doctrinal content that had been reviewed from our program, as well as our weekly lessons, and now have that all reviewed for conformity. So that's kind of a summary of what we're
Yeah.
kind of a top level of
It
what
is so
what we did.
interesting. This is so interesting because when we're talking to directors of religious education and for catechists, you have to know about the director of catechesis, and you have to know about how the programs are in conformity. We are in conformity from the USCCB, which is a great way that we could be into the parishes. I always say, our student lessons, our teacher guides, and our brand new family companion will help their faith formation journey by any means to be the best program in the market today, especially for your parish. As we continue, let's continue as we talk, David, a little bit more about the student lessons. These
Sure.
wonderful student lessons for 2026, 2027. And we're going to show you the good news on the side. David, I know you went from a couple pages to 8 pages. Tell me about it.
So the first three levels of the program, so say preschool through grade three, for the since the beginning of the program, were set up as 4-page lessons, and Venture and Visions are older levels, grades 4 through 6, and then 7 through 9, were 8-page lessons, and then double for all of that for bilingual lessons.
Mhm.
So this year we used the opportunity to try to keep things simple for students, for catechists, for parents, for program directors, by unifying the lessons across the board. So in English, all 5 levels are now 8-page lessons and 16 for bilingual. And that allowed us to include all the doctrinal content that had been approved and in conformity in a separate level handbook, now including it within the lessons. So that way it's simpler for a catechist, especially an inexperienced catechist, to incorporate all the doctrine within the lesson without having to go from one book to the other. Just have the lesson in front of them, and they can go through from beginning to end with their teaching guide. So that was
Mhm.
kind of simplifying it, but again, using the conformity update and a new process to work for us in terms of trying to make it a little simpler for everyone. And you see here in these bullet points that the other way we simplified the program is having one doctrinal theme per week across all the levels. And this works well, especially with combined classes in grade levels or families with more than one child, where they're coming home without having to say, okay, grade two is talking about this theme, and my grade three child, my grade four child is talking about something else. Everybody's talking about the same gospel and the same doctrinal theme every week. And that way, in a liturgical catechesis approach, there's still a spiral approach attached to it by having these common doctrinal themes. We've identified 32 doctrinal themes to go to the 32 lessons. And every year, at every level, in an age-appropriate way, we cover these doctrinal themes every year. We update saint stories, activities, new current event stories, new saints. All those things are updated every year, and it's always been the case. But now, especially this year, with Pope Leo, we've added new stories about the Pope as well. And then one other way, and David, you want to talk about this, I'll throw it back to you, about offering a different format as well as an option in terms of limited test quantities, I guess is what you'd
Mhm.
say.
But I just want to say, David, I always tell everybody out there that this program is the only program on the market that fosters mass attendance.
Mm,
And then we added the doctrinal theme that when they go to mass, they're going to understand what's being said
Right.
because of we are encouraging participation. We're encouraging families to go to Sunday liturgy.
Right.
As David says, I just want to ask you about a new saint. I hear there's a couple new saints in there, David.
Yeah, we have Pierre Frazzati and Carlo Acutis, of course, this year. Those
What?
were big the
Okay.
past year in terms of canonization, so they're included. And anytime, like there's talk now about uh, Archbishop Sheen being beatified, so we are, watching that closely. Will we add something new about him as well? Yes, so all those things every year we're trying
Yeah.
to keep it current as we can.
And David just mentioned about the bound student lessons are available in limited quantities. If you would like to receive the Gospel Weeklies in a bound book, many people would like to do that. We have a limited quantities of it. It's our test year on the bound books.
Right.
And we would love for you to give us a call and say, we want to try the bound books. Or else you want to retain getting the gospel weeklies and the wonderful nested packets that you have received in the past, especially this past year. If you would like to receive the gospel weeklies in the nested books, you're able to do that. So you'll have the two options, the
Yeah.
nested books or the bound books.
Right. So the lessons, for those who haven't used the program before, the lessons are individual lessons. So 8-page lessons that David used the term nested, meaning they come packed together, but then you could separate the lessons week by week. And that's been the program since the beginning, 45 years. Some have asked, especially say in schools or home study, could we have all the lessons together? Not necessarily a textbook, but having them bound together so we don't have to separate. There's not a need to separate the lessons each week. Some like the individual lessons because then each week a child's getting something fresh, and a lot of the students like that. And other programs like the idea of having it all together every week. So that's why we're trying this out in a limited quantity, trying this other. And it's no
Yeah.
different than the nested lessons, that there's no additional material. It's just the 32 lessons bound together.
Best thing is this, it's the same price.
Correct.
It is the same price across the board. We don't add on little pricing for bound books or separate. It's one price. As we continue, the teacher's guides, being a former Catholic school administrator and teacher, these teacher guides are outstanding. You receive the objectives in the teacher guides, the materials, and the evaluation. What any teacher out there would love is that is written right out for you. It's one guide per level in English and in Spanish. And it tells everything right from the beginning, like I just said, the objectives, how to pray, how to talk to the child step by step. I was educated many years ago in a Catholic school, and they would always say, Dave, you're going to do step one, step two, step three. Don't jump around. Just follow each step. And this is what the teacher guides provide for you as a teacher in a classroom right now. Catechist, you can hand this to a catechist at any moment and say, go ahead, here is what we left off last week. This is what we're doing this week. It helps the catechist. We have it online for you, and you could have a PDF. You could have it online. You could even have it right in person, a hard copy. And like I said, the teacher guides go step by step. Within the teacher guides, objectives of what you're going to be teaching, the materials that are needed for that lesson, and how to evaluate, how to talk to the child, and how to know where they're coming from by the special questions that are asked within the Gospel Weeklies. As David continues to talk more about these activities.
Correct. So there are three pacing plans available for every week's lesson. So there's a 60-minute, 90-minute, and 5-day program, depending upon what how you teach your or present your catechetical program, whether it's in a parish or a school setting. And then also there are additional pacing plans online for OCIA, special needs, other many different formats. So this year's the first year we have one guide per level for the entire year, so it helps catechists and teachers with their full year planning.
Mhm.
And at the end of each unit, you see an example here for Immaculate Conception. We have a closing activity that, these activities occasionally, All Saints' Day and Immaculate Conception will fall on a Sunday. I think Annunciation can as well, but it's a little hard because Lent usually overlaps there. But these are extra holy days that are important to teach that don't always fall on a Sunday that go with our program, so we don't usually have full lessons on them. So instead, we put these handouts each week. Each year, there's a level, how do I say it? Each level has its age appropriate activities tied to these special holy days. And that's a special bonus that's at the end of each unit of the 4 units of the program.
David said there is a 60-minute pacing plan, a 90-minute pacing plan, and a 5-day for our Catholic schools.
Yes.
And we could walk you through that, and we'll talk more right at the end about our trainer that we have on staff for you. But as we continue, we're going to talk right now about what is brand new for 2026, 2027, as we are talking about family. This is the biggest brand new initiative that we have, how to connect the Sunday Mass with the Catholic teaching and how to evangelize our family life. David?
Great. Yes. So we're very excited about this. We believe this is the only family component available on the market that it will be updated year after year. Certainly the first of its kind at the present moment. And it is also in response to both the Directory for Catechesis initiatives and also the new standards by the U.S. Bishops' Conference to include a resource for parents, for families. And that's what we're calling in our family companion. This will be updated every year with the same kind of components and also based on customer feedback as to what people would look for. But it's something we're really excited to talk about. And I can give up some highlights of what will be included in this family companion. There are weekly reflections that include Eucharist quotes about the real presence of the Eucharist, and the monthly pages. So I want to talk about that. So we have weekly pages, 52 weeks a year, not just school year. So from September through August of the following year. So that way, the parents and families can be involved and engaged in Mass preparation and also catechesis all year long, rather than just a school year. And then also similarly, the monthly pages that we will have also um, all 12 months of the year from September through the following August. So weekly pages have prayers and reflections, Eucharist quotes, a reflection on the gospel, connecting gospel and doctrine for the parents so they know what the children are learning. Monthly pages will feature the saints or special days in that month, highlighted, and then a Catholic identity project for families each month. There'll be a QR code that goes to even a daily calendar for each month. That's a bonus that you could either hand out as a part of your newsletter, or the parents can access directly by scanning the code that's in the
Mhm.
companion. Then parent articles on living the faith at home, in church, and in the world. Background on the liturgical year. So this year we'll be covering years A and B. So there'll be information on that. These doctrinal summaries, as I spoke about, will be in the weekly pages that will connect the gospel and doctrine. A mini family catechism. So it's a 4 pillar, age appropriate for families that walk through the 4 pillars of the catechism, and then also include Catholic prayers and practices, and then a full program glossary for this current year that covers all the words, the terms that will be used throughout all the grade levels, and also a QR code that will take you online to a full 3 year glossary. So you can see the entire 3 year glossary of all the words and terms that will be taught over the course of the 3 year cycle.
This is such a great way to be welcoming to families as they come into your program, as you could even go in there and say, okay, let's look at this coming Sunday and send a little note home to the families that they could pray together, say this special prayer together. They could learn the Our Father, the Hail Mary, the Memorare, the Stations of the Cross, the Rosary. Everything that's in there could help the families grow in their faith formation journey. This is such a great way as we empower the parents to learn more about their faith with their children.
Yeah. And you see it from these bullet points we have on the screen, supporting parents as a primary witnesses of the faith, not just as a primary teacher, but really primary witnesses, even in what we call casual catechesis, having a Bible at home, a cross on the wall, those kinds of things, giving the parents the basic tools, because sometimes they want to help, they want to teach the children the faith, but they don't know how. And we're trying to give them those tools for that. And again, it covers all the grade levels in a single English or bilingual volume. So there's not a family companion per grade level. It's the family companion that will cover all families uh, in one edition. And it really helps, especially with families with multiple children. And then
Yes.
again, it replaces the level handbooks that we've had in the past, because that content is now included in the lessons, with now another simple, easy to use resource for families that integrate the liturgical year with parish and home life.
David, I have a question. And my question that a lot of DREs would ask across the country is the information that is given to us as publishers and all that. Could you just tell me about one article that was very prominent in putting
Mhm.
into the brand new family companion book
Sure.
that many of the people really wanted to hear about? What was that? What's the most
Yeah,
important, famous, important article?
right. Well, I think that teaching prayer at home, how to teach prayer at home how to pray with your children. I think that was probably the biggest thing.
Hmm.
And just basic prayers, how to how to pray with your child, how to set up a prayer space at home. Those simple things. Even just praying at family meals.
Okay, great. Great.
Yeah.
As we continue, I'd like to talk to you about our more about our family companion book as we go to our next slide. And we say thank you because we're thanking you, the family, to say we're here for you. We're here for you and helping you grow with your faith formation journey. The Gospel Weeklies, best program on the market, best price. We would like you to contact your local rep. And if you would go to the Flum Gospel Weeklies website, bayard.com or flumgospelweeklies.com, contact call the 800 number. You could ask for Dave Barossi or David DeZina. You could ask for either one of us. We'll gladly help you out. We'll put you in the right path to talk more about our program. We have for you a full-time trainer on staff that will train your catechist of everything you need to know about the Gospel Weeklies. We guarantee it. We have the trainer is well informed of how to teach from A to Z, everything you need to know by using the Gospel Weeklies. We have so much other wonderful information from videos to music to resources that can help benefit your program. We ask you to reach out to myself or David DeZina or call from Gospel Weeklies. And the number is going to be right at the end of the slideshow today. And I say thank you very much.
Thank you.